Welcome everyone, and the moment that you have all been waiting for. I am going to show you how you can set up API actions, calling outside actions, complex actions with ChatGPT when you set up your custom GPTs. So, a lot of people, 99% of people are not going to show you how to do this out there because it's giving away a lot of money, a lot of value. And I'm going to give this to you completely free today. I've seen people asking about this public domain of APIs, which is RapidAPI. So I'm kind of going to show that today as well with all of this. So to get started, if you're not sure what we're doing here, this is creating custom GPTs with complex actions where not only are you going to be able to train your GPT with, instructions, but we're actually going to be able to point actions to endpoints that are APIs. If that makes any kind of sense to people who aren't doing this, awesome. But if you've never done this before, this might be a little confusing, but I'm going to help you along the way and show you, exactly how easy this really is to do. Let me fix my screen right here real quick. So as you can see in here, I'm in ChatGPT. But first I'm going to show you RapidAPI. What RapidAPI.com is it is a public server for a bunch of different, API endpoints that do a bunch of different things. So like they have popular APIs, right? You can see here what these are. They have all different kinds of things. Like this one's an Instagram scraper. So you can actually build a GPT that'd be able to go and scrape information from Instagram. So if we click on this, I'll just show you how this looks and how this works. For today's example, I might not go into detail with this one because this one will be a little more complex, but pretty much it has different get functions on the left side here. And with these get functions, these are all different functions that this endpoint will be able to do. You can see the popularity 9.9 out of 10, service level 100%, health check 100%. You're really looking for stuff that is definitely reputable, because there is pricing involved with this. There's free tiers, but there's also pricing where you have to pay per API action. And don't worry about that because we have a program coming out called Offlow. It's a new software, authflow.ai. You can look that up if you want. And what that is you're going to be able to monetize your GPTs within the OpenAI platform. We will actually come back to that and I'll show you at the end of the video on how to do that. But for right now, we'll just kind of stick to showing you this. So with this, these are all different kind of get functions. I mean, and it goes on for days. So we're not going to use this as an example because this video would probably take a few hours. I'm going to look for something a little more basic, but you see here when you change this, you'll have like different, code snippets on the right. And I'm going to show you exactly what you can do with these very easily. Okay. You don't have to be a master coder. You do have to have some kind of knowledge, which, practice a little bit, you'll be able to get that knowledge you need. But for today's example, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use, I've already looked at this one. It's JSearch. It's a fast and reliable job searches on LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, plus others on Google for jobs in real-time data. Okay. As you can see, we're looking for real-time data with these APIs because when we create this complex GPT or this custom GPT to be able to do these functions, we want to get accurate information. A lot of the times, just talking to ChatGPT, you're not able to get accurate information. You're only able to get to the cap unless you're kind of searching online with that, but that's not what we're looking for. We want something that's very consistent, very powerful, and gets the job done, all the time. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to show you this JSearch. I'm going to show you how to create a GPT that can use JSearch. If you want to kind of just do exactly what I do to kind of copy it to practice, you can. But with JSearch, we're going to plug this all into a GPT. So what we're going to do over here, move this because this is kind of in the way. Just a second. Let's get this over here. Switch over here. I got my bar up here. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. So right here we have, the OpenAI platform. I am actually going to use a custom GPT that I've made. You are welcome to use this, but this will help speed along the process instead of going ahead and trying to find a GPT that specializes in something like this. If you don't have a ChatGPT Plus subscription, I am sorry. You're not going to be able to do anything in this video. So right here, what we have is the GPT creator by Chris Porter. This is just going to assist us with creating this GPT. I've trained this on being able to interact and build out, custom schemas and everything like that according to RapidAPI specs, as well as the OpenAPI spec for OpenAI, if that makes any sense to anyone. So this is just going to be a little tool that we're going to use along the way. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go over to regular ChatGPT before we start. To create a GPT, if you don't know, you click on Explore GPTs on the left, and then you see My GPTs, and then Create on the top right. You just click create. And what we're going to have here is a very, very, the start of a configuration of a GPT. We're not going to need any of these capabilities of the web browsing, Dolly image generation, or anything like that this time. If you haven't watched my basic video on how to set up a very basic GPT without custom or without, RapidAPI or anything like that, or writing schema, then maybe check that out first, just kind of see what this is all about on the left side. If you already are familiar with setting up GPTs, then this is going to be kind of a walk in the park. So you don't have to do the name, description, instructions first if you don't want to, but for this, we will. I'm just going to call this, JSearch. We can just call it the same thing, whatever. You can call yours whatever you want and build whatever you want. So I help you find jobs on LinkedIn and other networks. Okay. So very, very basic. We're not going to do the instructions yet, and we'll come back to that and I'll show you why. So for today, with creating these custom actions, we have to go to this magic little button down here on the left-hand side that says create new actions. We're going to click create new actions, and you're going to see here authentication, none, schema, there's nothing in there, privacy policy, there's nothing in there. We're going to get to all that. You're going to need a privacy policy, which you can make on Google Sites, which is free. It takes like 2 seconds to do it, but you do need that to be able to, put this out to the public with a custom schema. Privacy policy just states that you're not going to steal their information, anything like that. You can have ChatGPT write that for you. So what we're going to do today, and you're not going to be able to see my off screen, but now that we're in the job search, what you want to do is go to pricing, JSearch. They're going to show you different pricing plans. So they have like requests. What this means is how many times this API can be called a month, right? So for now, what we're going to do is just do the basic plan, which is, 100 a month. And then, it's capped at 1,000 requests per hour. If you're going to build this out to charge people to use this GPT, then obviously you're going to want to use something on the paid plan where you're going to be able to get more, requests, the API calls, everything like that. So, but for now, make sure when you start, you are subscribed to whatever you are doing. Most of them are free, so you can work and build. So we're just going to go to that. Let's go back to the endpoints up here on the left-hand side. This might be confusing for some people at first, but just watch this video over and over and you'll figure it out. It's pretty simple. So what we're going to do here, I do have a notepad opened up. You can see that here. I'm going to put this over on the other screen. You're not going to be able to see that. But what I'm going to simply do, there's only a few functions on here. There is 4 get functions. It is search, search filters, job details, and estimated salary, right? So these are the only get functions that are built with this API. If you're looking for something else, you need to either build your own endpoints or you need to find a different maybe job search app. But for today's purpose, to make it short, make it quick, easy, this is what we're going to do. So the first one, this is very, 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 very simple. Okay. And, we're going to use ChatGPT to help us with this. So what we're going to do is start copying these codes. Right here, you'll see this little copy button. You just click copy. And I'm pasting this over into my notepad. Okay, so I just paste this over. I'm just going to space them out. So I just did 2 enters, right? Put this back over here. So now you see what I'm doing. And then job search. I copied that one. Let's copy this code again. Just make sure I pasted that back in the notepad. And let's do this for everyone. Okay. So here we go. And then we're going to do the estimated salary one. Put that in there. Boom. Okay. So if you see, as soon as you put that information in, you're good to go. What we're going to do is we're going to go on over to the GPT creator by Chris Porter, which is me. This is a GPT creator that I wrote and, gave examples of custom schema and all that kind of stuff. So it knows exactly what specs we're looking for. So let's just start it out and just say, I'm creating a custom GPT that can search job information, right? I'm going to say, whatever. Here is some code snippets that you need. I mean, that's pretty basic what I just said, but. Okay, and then I'm going to take that entire code and copying and pasting it, bringing it over here to ChatGPT. I'm pasting that in with myself. So I just sent that there. And what this did is it just sent all of the functions. I literally just copied all these functions over here on each and every one, and I put it into the GPT creator, and you'll see the response. So it's going to say, how can I assist you with your GPT action schema today based on your snippets? It looks like you're working on GPT that can handle job search queries. Do you need to integrate these API calls into a custom GPT action schema? Then we're just going to say, yes, write the correct OpenAPI schema. So here you go. It's going to go ahead and start writing the schema out. And this is done in the YAML language, which is a coding language. But here you go. You can see it has the OpenAPI spec that they call for on the custom GPT. So we're just going to let this finish doing its thing. And, you know, this is my first time creating this one. I've never tried it with JSearch. So if we run into any errors, we're going to solve them along the way. Pretty much what this is doing is writing all the code that you need for your schema. And you don't have to use GPT Creator by Chris Porter. I will leave a link to this in the comments or on the post somewhere. You can use it if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can talk to, you know, ChatGPT and tell it what you're doing, and it can give you results like this. But, you know, they may not be as accurate as what I've trained this GPT Creator to do. If you're not very familiar with code, you're not going to be able to spot an error, which is very, you know, hard to get around if you're not familiar with that. So using the GPT Creator by Chris Porter, you don't have to do, but it is recommended. So we should have this all done. Okay. It's still working. So we're just going to copy this, right? This is super simple. I'm going to show you exactly how quick this is. We're going to copy this here. Come back over. We're going to do our schema because that is just the schema that it wrote out for us. This is all the code that you need to go into the schema for all those functions, okay? We're going to paste that in here. And as you see, we didn't have any errors. If we had any errors, it would show up above available actions here. It'd show up in red. No errors on our end. See, we have the available actions now as search jobs, get search filters, get job details, and estimate salary. Exactly what we have over here, you know, that I copied. It is that simple, okay? So let's come back over here. You are going to need a privacy policy, and I can show you how to do that if you want. If not, you know, reach out and just say, hey, what's up? How do you do the privacy policy? Super simple. Just use Google Sites. It's free. Write a privacy policy, one pager, stick the link right in here. I'll just kind of show you, you know, I'm just going to use one for a different one just for this purpose. But okay, as soon as we have this schema in, we are almost ready to go. Like, it looks like it took me forever to be able to create this long, you know, complex GPT. It's really not that complex at all. So, you know, we have our schema. We have no errors thrown below it that are in red. Next thing we have to do, we have to make sure we have authentication. And without having authentication, we're not going to be able to have this work. So with authentication, you're going to click here. And guys, watch this video multiple times if I'm going too quick for you. It'll really help you because you can do this for any, you know, API that is on rapidapi.com without having to build your own APIs, which saves you tons and tons of time. Okay. So you're going to go on this authentication type. We have the options of none, API key, and OAuth. What we're going to do is we're going to authenticate through an API key. You guys can try to steal my API key if you want. It's not going to get you anywhere because this is a RapidAPI account that I don't really use. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come back over to RapidAPI. Okay. We're going to take this API key here. I'm going to copy it. See where I copied it by X RapidAPI key? We're going to copy that. We're going to paste it right here. We're actually doing authentication type is going to be custom. Okay. So we're going to click custom header name. Okay. So we have our API key in there. Now we got to do the API key header name. Sorry. So what we're going to do is just copy this right here. X RapidAPI key, copy. We're going to come right back over here. Boom, paste it in. Okay. Right. So we are going to do our first test here, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed that this actually works as it should. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, this is where you can test on the right side. So we're going to just do, let's just test it all. So we're going to do the search jobs function, the get function. I'm looking for a job. in the kitchen industry, maybe. I don't know. Search jobs for me. Super simple. You don't have to really say much. Probably should have said like my location and stuff like that, but we'll just see what this does. So the action came up. It gave me the option to accept the action. You can see it's talking to jsearch.p.rapidapi.com, and it successfully talked. And boom, here you go. So obviously I didn't put in, my location. You can do that yourself. I'm just kind of showing you how these functions work. So it's actually pulling this job information and these job listings and everything like that right from the API here. And you can see that it talked to the API and it actually worked, right? So this is super, super, super simple. Let's go ahead and just stop this. And if you go back to, RapidAPI, you can see that they have literally thousands and thousands of different API integrations that you can do. So, I've used this for a lot of different things. It's really helpful with stocks. You're getting into stocks and you want to have real-time finance data on stocks and stuff like that. You can do that through this. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. I highly suggest using RapidAPI if you want to really, really, make the process of building this out go a lot faster. Okay. So, just for this example, you can see that this is all working. We have our privacy policy in here, which is one from a different GPT that I have. And that's pretty much it. It has all these different functions. Let's just say I need estimated salary for sous chef. Yet again, I probably should have put in the location, but just to show you that the APIs are calling and this works as it should, I'm gonna go ahead and just run it again and just show you exactly how it works. So it's always going to say it wants to start this action. We're going to allow it. And here you go. So it's going to show us the Indeed minimum, maximum, median salary, linked to Indeed. And this is all real-time data because we are using API endpoints. You will not get information like this on just ChatGPT. You won't get it on 3.5, obviously. And you really won't even get it on using ChatGPT 4. You have to build these custom GPTs in order to create, all these kind of actions and stuff like that. So you can see here, gave us the answer of what we wanted. Potential earnings, broad. You can get down to the nitty gritty with this. So what we're going to do, this is looking great under the action schema. So we're going to go back in, go back, and then we're just going to do the instructions, which can be whatever you want. Once a lot of people are going to want to create these and offer, paywalls. So what I mean by paywalls is you're not going to let people just use this GPT for free all the time because you have to pay for those API calls, which is very normal. You can't get around it. Okay. So since you have to pay for those API calls, we have created a software called Offlow.ai, and we've touched base on this a little bit earlier in the video. We are actually opening up, our, early users that you can go ahead and use Offlow to be one of the first users, but you will be able to go ahead and lock down a custom GPT with a paywall. So subscription meaning, you'll have Schema and everything it does all for you, where it'll actually go ahead and lock down your GPT. So someone has to have a paying subscription. It can all be done within the OpenAI platform. This has never been done before. We're actually, letting you integrate it for free. I'll just show you Offlow real quick. If you ever went to Offlow.ai yet to join our waitlist, definitely do it. Especially if you have experience with creating GPTs, because our first users we're going to let in, we want to make sure that they're people that are actually creating GPTs. What you can see here is Offlow is your solution to creating a GPT and locking it down with a paid subscription. And if you think I'm lying, pricing is free. Okay, so, get off of that, but join the waitlist. I'll show you how to implement that here soon. With this, oops, got this bar keeps coming down. So let me fix this. Okay, so now we're back in JSearch that we've configured. Here is the GPT. What we're going to do is just give it some basic instructions. We don't really need much. Once you do implement paywalls and stuff like that, you'll be able to introduce that into the instructions as well, which I'll explain that later. But for now, for this GPT, what I'll do is I'll say, it's your job to find real-time data with the endpoints configured in the, we're just gonna say the open API schema. That's really it. You can do whatever you want in these instructions. I'm not going to go into detail with that because I can leave that up to you. Once you're done with that, you literally just click this button right here called create, and you can publish it right to the GPT store. You pick whatever, whatever category you're in, and boom, you are done. So if anyone has any questions, please reach out and let me know. If you don't want to use GPT Creator by Chris Porter, the GPT that I created, you do not have to. You can actually go and talk to ChatGPT and have it write schema, but you need to make sure that it is trained correctly. If not, you're going to be in a nightmare of errors. So like I said, you don't have to use it, but I do highly suggest using GPT Creator that I created. I will leave the link in the comments, either on the comments or, in the post, whatever. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I really appreciate everyone, taking the time to really watch these videos. Have a good one, everyone.